What's going on YouTube? Chris here. I want to bring you all an update today of Bitcoin, Litecoin, and XRP. Those are the three we're going to go over. And what we're looking at here for Bitcoin, we're at a very sticky spot. And as we look, we've been paying attention to this green trend line. We don't want to see a trend line break, guys, and we're flirting with it right now. We're a little bit below it. This is going to be on the 4-hour time frame. You can see that's happening right at resistance as well. We've been consolidating sideways. The candles have been extremely tight, and that's where I've been putting out the videos for the last day or two, that the candles are getting tight and we should expect some type of a move, whether it be to the upside or the downside. The trend has been up. Typically when you consolidate, you'll continue that uptrend, but something we need to pay attention to is the decreasing volume as the price is going up. That's a bad sign. You don't want to see that. As the trend's moving up, you want to see those big swells of volume coming in. And what you can see on the 1-day time frame for Bitcoin here, if we actually zoom out a little bit, you see as we had that volume climax right there, then what happened was we put in basically a bit of almost a bullish harami pattern with a very long wick, as you can see there, and we started to move to the upside. And it happened on heavier volume, but the continuation, the volume's been decreasing. And whenever you get that decreasing volume, that can be a sign if price is rising. So we definitely need to be careful right now. And what we're also looking at is this death cross that's taking place on the 1-day time frame. Now, it's not as significant yet because we're not necessarily getting a very big slope to the downside. We're a little bit more horizontal with this 200 moving average there. I mean, obviously we're still pointed down just a little bit, but we haven't got that big curve yet. But this is definitely something you want to keep your eye on. When we get those death crosses, a lot of times that can be enough there to start pushing us back to the downside, and then we'd have to start looking at $5,700 as some type of support. And then it'd be down here around, we'll call it $5,000 psychologically. But, you know, this is just an area where you want to protect yourself, because on the RSI, we're at 46 right now. So we're running a little bit more neutral. And as you know, in this space on the 1 day, our RSI can get down into the teens. So there's plenty of room being up around 46. If we do get a downside break, that we really could go low fast, and we have to be prepared for that as well. So if you're playing positions now, or you're in positions, you know, really focus on those stop losses and stop loss placement. The candles are extremely tight right now, so most likely the next move, whether it be to the upside or the downside, is probably going to be fast and aggressive. So you need to prepare for that. But anytime you're having that rising price and you're having that decreasing volume, you'll get a move to the downside. So that's why we're really watching this trend line. And I'm playing on the 4-hour time frame right now. So if you take a look at this, you can see we're actually losing the trend line a little bit right now. We still have support of this 50 moving average. From all the books that I read, say you're in a position right now, until you have that trend line break and you lose that important moving average, you want to stay in your position, because the trend still has been up. We've been consolidating sideways. What I'm nervous about, like we talked about, was the volume decreasing. We want to see increasing volume. And if we are to make a move to the upside, then our target's going to be at 7,435. So we have a mixed bag of things right now. We have our trend still continuously moving up. We're still trying to fight for support on the 4-hour time frame, which a lot of guys like to trade off swing trading. We're holding that 50 moving average right now. We have not back tested it. It's been since, let's see, March 23rd was the last time we back tested, and as you see there, we got a little move off that. So we're going to have to wait and see. Our RSI in the 4 hours at 54, so we're kind of just cruising neutral there as well. Going to have to keep an eye on that. So that's Bitcoin, guys. Just pay attention. I guess that's the main thing. This is a really sticky spot. We're up, moving up in a trend. We're having those higher lows that have still been coming in, but that volume is making me a little bit nervous. So my upside alarm there is at 7,009. If we get a move to the upside, and then to the downside, we'll put one in at 6,466. I want to be alerted there. Candles are getting tight, so the next move should be pretty explosive when it does happen. So if you get something from that, guys, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We're going to move on to Litecoin next. And as we're looking at Litecoin here, we can also take a look. Dow Jones is down 700 points right now. These are some of the coins I'm looking at. Here's XRP there. We'll take a look at that later. But here's Litecoin. We're at 39.50 right now. And with Litecoin, it's still kind of just waiting on Bitcoin. You can see we've been in this rising wedge. We're looking at this on the 4-hour time frame. We've been in this rising wedge. We're still having our higher lows that are coming in. We're still having support off this trend line. Candles are getting very tight. We need to get up above $41.07 is going to be our overhead resistance. And in terms of support, we need to hold, we'll call it $38.88. That's going to be this 50 moving average. And it's also going to be that trend line. If we start breaking down below that, we'd start targeting $35, then be down around $32. Then guys, around that $30 range. And if we get a trend line break, you know how that happens. It can typically fall or flush something big like this. So you always have to be careful, because you can have 20, 30, even 40% drops out of trend lines, depending on how long they've been established. So this started back around March 13th. We hit our low. So this has been intact for a while now, guys. It's trying to get into becoming an intermediate term trend or a secondary trend. So we have to watch this, and we have to see what's going to happen. This break, when it happens, is most likely going to be pretty quick and aggressive. So we have to prepare, because the volume's dropping. Whenever the volume's dropping, you're going to look for that pop to the upside or to the downside. And upside targets, like we said, we're going to call it $41, then we'll call it around $42.08. And then we'd look up to around that $50, which it could happen fast, guys. It could very well come back up to the top of this rising wedge, and then we bounce around in here a little bit more. That's always a possibility. And to the downside, we really wouldn't want to lose that $38, because if we lose that, our next support's going to be down around $35. Okay? So really pay attention to that stuff. RSI right now is at 51. So I just want to give you a quick update on Litecoin there, guys. You like me covering Litecoin, smash that thumbs up button, and then we'll get into XRP here. And it's important, guys, to really look at these technicals and see what's happening, because these technicals are showing you, the buying and the selling, the supply and demand, the pressure. And what we're seeing here on the 4-hour time frame for XRP, looking like we were putting in a little bit of a short-term bottom here. We basically had a double bottom, and now we've been having higher lows since then. We're trying to consolidate above the resistance we just broke up above, and that's around 17 cents. So if we can turn that into support, we would have room to come up here and challenge this 200 moving average, and that's going to be around 20 cents is what we're going to call it. Just a hair under 20 cents. And that's what we need to get back up above, and we need to start conquering some of these areas that are going to be overhead resistance. Like we'll call it 20 cents, and then it's going to be up here around 22.5 cents. Then we'd have to get up to around that 26, and this is just how it starts. So basically what we're looking for as well, like we've been harping on and talking about, we can draw a trend line for XRP here if we take a look. So we'd put that right around there, just a little rough one as our trend line. We want to continue to see that hold. Here's a little bit of volume that came in, but we need some more volume. We need those swells of volume to show that the buyers are in control, and they're going to be able to continue to push us to the upside to get through those overhead resistance areas. It's all about breaking through them, turning them into support, and then making the next move. So that's where it's tough here, guys. We're seeing this uptrend. We're still not seeing the most amount of volume, though. We want to see those swells of volume. I can't overemphasize it. I've really been studying and paying a lot of attention to volume and how it confirms moves. And what you'll notice is when you're in that uptrend, you'll get that nice strong push of volume. And then when you start to have that retracement, when you're still in an uptrend, the volume will dry up. And you'll start seeing it dry up, and then the next move to the upside happens on bigger volume, and vice versa in a downtrend. Just like here, when we were moving strong in a downtrend, it was on heavy volume. And then when we had our reaction, it was on lighter volume. So that's confirming the trend. That's showing you that that's a true downtrend. And right now the impulse waves are to the downside. You see how that works? And that's why once you learn these things and these technicals, you can really put them on your side and say, all right, this is, I'm going to swing trade, I'm going to long-term invest and swing trade, and really start to look at this stuff. Just like right now, we're finally back up above this 50 moving average, and it's correlating with this uptrend line right there. So this should definitely hold as support if we're going to continue this move to the upside. If we're not, then we'd start looking at some of those lower levels around 15 cents. Then we'd go back to around that double bottom around 13 cents. I mean, we'd been as low as 11 cents is what we dropped down to. So congratulations to all the people who around 10 cents, 11 cents were putting buy orders. Down in there, you snagged you something great, and we're up around 17.5 cents now. So we really need to keep this going. If we look at XRP in trading view and we look at some of the technical analysis, what you're going to see is on the 1 day we have a 9 sell, 9 neutral, 10 buy, and this is where we talked about being in a sticky area, being in a tough spot right now, because it's kind of that spot. Who's going to step in? Are the bulls going to finally step back in and we start making a nice strong run into the halving, or the bears just going to be in complete control right now, and we're waiting to see which way the whales are going to take this market. oscillators, 1 sell, 8 neutral, 2 buy. Moving averages, 8 sell, 1 neutral, 8 buy. And what you can see is in the shorter term, we have more buy signals. In the longer term, we have more sell signals. So we're a little bit more bullish in the short term, but in the longer term, we're still in that downtrend. And we have to be aware of that. So as we step back, guys, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to change this trend here. And you can almost see if we draw a trend line from here as well. I always love to draw trend lines. We're getting right to that resistance point as well. So we need volume to get through that. If we take a look at that right there, we're at a critical point. So let me know what you think down low, guys. Are we going to finally get out of all these downtrends and really start making strong moves into the halving? Is it time for Bitcoin to shine? As the financial markets around the world are going nuts. Is this going to be a great time for Litecoin and XRP and Bitcoin to really shine, or do you think we're just going to get continued push to the downside and these are just false little reaction rallies? I'd love to hear it down low. Appreciate you guys being here with me today. God bless. Take care.